Okay, post these. And should be good. Alright. Oh yeah, need to have this up. Dashboard. Oh yeah. Let me lower this down. I think it was about this much. There we go. Oh, we're at 50. Okay. I'll do this. There we go. Close these. Open this. Okay, can finally get around to drawing blood orange. Let's grab her reference. That way I can make sure I'm doing it right. Oh, I made 2 folders for this. Blood orange. Wish there was a way to see everybody in chat at the same time. Probably is, and I just don't know it. That's okay. Alright. Zoom in a little. And let's turn off your stuff for now. Alright. You know, let's change the background. Oops, not that one. Let's do Gretchen today. There we go. Alright. Oh yeah, we need my fat reference. Hello, Doom Watcher. I'm doing alright. Working on some artwork. Gonna do this and then probably some of the Patreon stuff if I have some time. Where is the thingy? Oh, no worries. Where is my reference? Ah, here we go. And move this over here so that way I can see chat. There we go. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Crashing through the ceiling. Alright. No more. Let's just get the ball rolling. I'm doing alright. Just doing another drawing stream. I think next week I'm going to have like a more fleshed out schedule of when I'm going to stream. And I'll pick some days where I'm not streaming, so that way I can have some more time to work on Patreon stuff and comic stuff. Because I'm still working on Black Circus. Actually, let's do her hair last, because we need the rest of her body. Becky to a blink. Thank you for the follow, Ben. Alright, so... And her arm is covering that part, so don't need to draw it. Let's give her a big old booty. Any chance can turn off slow mode? Let me see. I'm still rather new to this. Oh, okay. Slow mode is 30 seconds. 30 seconds is default. Let's try... Okay, yeah, here we go. We can turn it off. Okay. So, it is off at the moment. See where this is going. Was watching YouTube VODs during the week. Yeah, I just started doing this to try to get myself in the groove of it. Because I want to stream more in general, but I'm trying to like get more out there this time around. So I'm trying to take this year a lot more seriously. So doing my best. And she does not have a belt, so she won't have to hold back this gut. So let's see, how do I want it? We'll do it up here. And then I'll just adjust over time. Oh, right. I forgot I need to fix that. Edits. Change this to art. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I was playing Smasher yesterday. Because I played Arknights, Smasher, and Skullgirls. So that was fun. Yeah, I thought the Octavia pick was pretty funny. Because like, I could totally see like if she was older and she got dressed up the way she was back in the day. And she'd just be like, shoot me. Especially if she has any like friends that she mingles with and they see her in that getup. So I figured that'd be kind of funny. Pull back. So yeah, any adjustments I need to do, I can just do it on the fly. Wish I didn't have this like shield notification thingy up. Is there a way to turn that away? Automod. shield mode, explore on. So can I turn that off? Okay, that's a whole other thing I do not feel like dealing with right now. Yeah, I'll just have to meddle with it later. I always found the moment where Stolas sleeps with Blitz a little off in terms of like the sequence of events, because like you see Stolas all happy and stuff about, you know, doing it with him, and then saying like, oh, we're getting a fucking divorce, but then like if you connect that to the episode where he takes Octavia to Looney, or why am I blanking on the name? Lululand, there we go. She, like, you see Stella just super pissed, and Stolas is acting as if he was just like caught in the middle of it, and he's like not sure how to process it. So I don't know if it was just like a moment of him just being happy, and then suddenly he gets like, you know, reality kicks in, or if certain things just weren't put together smoothly. But it's like a minor complaint. It's just something I noticed, or at least I assume I noticed. I don't know. So there we go. So I figured this time if I get 60 followers, I'll just make a alternate of Becky in a nun outfit for the stream, and then I'll just have her hold the Thibel next to her. We can adjust this. Yeah, she does talk shit on him. You also gotta take into account that he was like not putting effort into it either. So obviously, because you know, their marriage was arranged, so it's not like it was anything he wanted. Let's move this up a bit. There we go. So yeah. Because, like, from her perspective, it's like, well, he doesn't give a shit. Make her chunky. Make None of this anatomy makes sense, and then part of me shouldn't even try most of the time. It's like, eh. Right. It's more like there. I feel like there's still information about Stella that we don't have, because all we really see is their relationship after Octavia was born. Because during the party where she's talking shit about him, she basically just says like, well, all he does is lay there, and then she was like, well, I'm glad that an egg popped out so she doesn't have to fuck him anymore. So yeah, like, if we saw more of their relationship prior to that, then we get a little bit more context to see, like, you know, how their relationship basically went down the drain. Like, for all we know, she probably could have tried, and he just didn't respond to her very well. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna do Violeton's other form, or his real form. But yeah, like, hopefully we get more context about Stella. Because, yeah, she's a bitch, but there's usually reasons to that. Yeah, true. But you also gotta account that, you know, she's young, crazy little girl, so she could have mellowed out when she got older. But then, you know, just there's just so many questions to her personality, like, you know, the journey of how she got there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting whether it be an animated thing or even in a comic, just to see where she comes from. Because because you gotta remember, she's most likely royalty as well, if they're having like an arranged marriage thing going on, or at least, you know, wealthy in some way. Like, she's not just a random woman that they picked off the street. Or random girl, technically, because she was much younger. Hello, Captain Shotgun. Yes, praise to the Thibault. Yeah, because, I mean, you gotta remember, she's, like, royally pissed. But then it's like, and that's like the other thing is, like, you see her, because the way she acts between the Lululand episode and the episode where she hires the assassin, and then the way she acts when she's addressing him on the balcony, it seems like an odd swap in how she acts towards him, because in the first two, she's just super pissed. She's just like, I don't want to even see your fucking face type of scenario. But then when you get to the balcony one, she's just acting more like she's just taunting him the entire time. Just like, you know, just being an asshole rather than just being pissed off. And it seems like a weird swap in personality. Like, even if it's just a small change, it's enough to be noticeable on how she's acting. At least to me, because I was like, huh, I wonder why she's more taunting him than just being completely pissed off. I guess tormenting him is the word, but it's not really doing anything other than just saying, hey, you cheated on me over and over and over. Whereas the first two was just like, I can't believe you fucking did that. And then she's like, alright, I'm done with you, just get the fuck away from me. and then of course she eventually moves out. But but the taunting one just I don't know. This seems a bit out of character compared to the first two instances. It's like she's trying too hard. And it's not like Stolas is just gonna forget what happened, and he's not that type of character. So she almost doesn't have to do anything. She can just, sit there with a scowl. But I don't know. Could be just a change in direction for her for the third instance. Did I see your chat? Like talking about Valadin? I said I was gonna do his at some point. I don't think. Are you talking about that? Yeah, I'm gonna do his true form later in the year. She was mentally off her. Yeah, but I think she can do better if she's gonna make him miserable. Because, like, even in the first instance when she's just royally pissed, when she grabs one of the servants, she's like, oh, you want to fuck this one too? So, I mean, there are better ways that she can do it. Than just saying, like, oh, look at your cheating ass, like, wow, slow clap. You gotta give her credit, though. She didn't cheat on him before that point, at least as far as we're aware of. Despite, having zero relationship with him, she didn't do anything. That up. And this is probably gonna go about here. Yeah, maybe. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. Because I'll definitely probably, I'll definitely work on some artwork for the adopts that I've gotten over time. Because I'd like to crank out their artwork. So that'll be a fun project. Let's do it bigger. There we go. Can always adjust if I need to. Doggo says hi. Hello, Doggo. Gotta give the pets. can't pick protecting my face from licks. Make it a little bit more widened to offset the narrowness. There we go. And I think I'll put her knee on the other side. There we go. Alright. Get her fat feet in here. Do-do-do. Let's see. And like I said, next week, or probably from here on, I'll probably work on a actual schedule to put up, so that way people will know when I'm doing stuff, or when I'm streaming. That way it's just easier, and then I can also set up some free days. For me to work on other projects and stuff like that. Do-do-do. Let's see. Got this. Alright, put in our nails. There we go. Do-do-do. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Then we can move on to the clothing. There we go. Alright. Let's see, I can see her like holding like a knife to try to catch her prey. She's like, I'm gonna get you, but she's like so huge now. Scissors as a cane to hold her up. Well, luckily she's a divine being, so she can actually hold herself up pretty well. But it would be comedic for her to just be, you know, sluggish and hefty just for the hell of it. Like she's completely capable of actually catching somebody if she wanted to, but she's like prolonging the joke just for fun. So let's see. Get this. Do. Low speed, intense chase. Just give her a big ass knife. There we go. Big ass knife. Blood Orange is going hunting. Actually, it's a little bit too slanted. Let's fix that. Fat fingers. Dun 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 dun. There we go. Curve these a little bit. There we go. Alright, now let's do the rest of her hair first. Or, nah, I think her outfit would be better to do. So, outfit usually, we're just gonna stretch out this a bit. There we go. She doesn't really have much to her when it comes to the clothing. Oh yeah, I need to do her tail. Let's take a look at this as overall, because I can just move her around. Let's put it about here. And instead of a skinny tail, she's going to have a chubby tail. And let's stretch her out just to stretch this out just a bit more to give her room. There we go. Move her over. There we go. Anyway, I hope everyone else is doing good. Feels like it's gonna be a bit of a slow day. Just chilling, being in the zone. Da, 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 da. Right. And then depending on where she is, it'd just be like, okay, is she near? And you just like find like a puddle of water or something, and you just see it shaking as she's looking for you. Just going dum dum dum. Have the literal, oh Lord, she coming. Do. I'm basically gonna have a character similar to this eventually, who like just lives in like the swamp or whatever, and then comes across people people come across their place, and it's up in the air on whether or not they'll actually eat them, but just an idea, at least for the time being. Okay, so I got that. Now to get the rest of her outfit. Just make like little strands of it. And just have the outfit right up a bit because it's obviously going to be too small for her. I'll make some adjustments to it to give it more flow. Probably put some fat underneath here. Let's tighten this up a bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, she's got lines on her belly. We'll do that after we do her hair. Yeah, I almost switched the days of drawing her to yesterday, but I was like, nah, I already said I would do gaming on Friday. But that's fine. I need to update the character I made for Friday the 13th in high school, just make it look nicer. I used to have a character for some of the holidays. Not all of them. Like, ironically, I didn't have a Thanksgiving character, a 4th of July, or I'm trying to think if there's any other more relevant ones. Because I had a St. Patrick's Day one, but a lot of them need super updating because they are old looking. we go. Damn, it's been almost 50 minutes already. Yeah, these streams go pretty fast. That I've noticed. Like, they almost don't feel as fast as, or they almost feel faster than when I was doing Picardo. But even then, I was, like, doing the same things. Maybe it's because I usually work on, like, a comic or something on Picardo. Maybe that's the case. So it just feels slower because I'm working on something that's a lot more work intensive. So it could be just that. Let's do this for that part. Actually, no. There we go. This is basically if the Grudge or the Ring were, I forget their name, the ghost girl's name, but basically if she was fat and she tries to wiggle herself out of a TV and she gets stuck. I've seen artwork of that happening where they make her chubby or fat and then they just keep feeding her while she's stuck in the TV. There's like other ones where she's like cute, where she comes out of the TV, but then like the person she's supposed to murder or haunt or whatever, basically asks her out. So they just go on dates and stuff, and it's all cute. She's all like shy, and like most of the time her face is just still covered up by her hair, but it's like still adorable. No point drawing her eyelids and eyebrows. Well, like the indentations of it, because this is gonna be darkened up when I color. I guess I could still put them there for the sake of line art, but nah, I'm not gonna do it. There you go. Darken that up. Let's do this. Yeah, just in the zone. Being in the zone helps out a lot, because you're just like coasting and then you realize that hours have passed and you're like, really? Didn't feel that way. And we'll string up some of her hair over here. That way it looks like it's going all over the place. Damn, it is 1 o'clock already. That is crazy. Check that later. Okay, most of her hair is going to be behind her anyway. Got that. Put out a little few more strays. Thick neck. Okay, got all that. So let's make another layer so that way it's easier to put these lines on her. I don't have to care so much about being sloppy. Probably be about a year. Let's get the... that was horrible. Yeah, still bad. Better. Let's get that initial one out. Right? Like, the tummy lines are great and all, but they're also a pain in the ass. Especially if you're making a comic and you gotta constantly draw lines on, like, a dragon or something. You just sit there and go, why? Why did I do this to myself? That's like the only downside to making like a complicated character, is that if you plan on using them in like a comic format, you're just gonna hate yourself. That's like the best form of masochism, or not masochism. Yeah, masochism. Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah. Best form of masochism is just punishing yourself with a complicated character. You're like, oh, I'm gonna cover this character in gold and give them 6 wings and cover them in spots, and then they're gonna have different color eyes, and have 6 eyes, so each of them's a different color, and then I'm gonna make them drool, and then I'm gonna make it a live 2D, so I'm gonna animate it. He's like, ah, yes, punish me more. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, you just come out of that with a punish title. You just have this overly complicated character, and it's like, why the hell did you draw that? And it's like, I felt like punishing myself. I say as I have several characters that are like that. Yorjadov, for example. Jesus help me with her. That's why you don't see her like full body a lot of the time in the comic. Like you just see a good chunk of her and that's it. And granted, some of her colors are pretty simple, but when you get to her head, it's like, okay, here's this freaking masquerade-looking mask-like head with butterfly wings. So good luck with that. I do not envy anybody who attempts to draw her. And then, like, just for kicks, I gave her freaking butt wings or tail wings, whatever the hell I put those things. I just gave her, like, small itty-bitty wings just for the hell of it. No real purpose to them, just to be... They're just there. It's not like she needs them. She can fly without wings. They're just literally there for decoration. Okay, so did all that. So let me select these. This. Some of her hair. Should be good. I can erase the others. Oops, wrong button. Select this one before I miss it. There we go. There we go. Delete the strays. Oh yeah, she has some on her face too. We'll have to put them there in a moment. Do that. Erase this, even though you probably won't even see it. And let's merge it. You guys have an okay time hearing me, right? I know I'm pretty soft-spoken, so it's hard for me to tell if you guys can hear me or not. And I try making adjustments to my microphone every once in a while when I listen to my playbacks. Sounds good? Okay. Because it's hard to like balance out whether or not I'm too low, or if a person just doesn't have their headset high enough, but like not like ear bleeding high, but just like, I don't know, middle ground or something. It's a hard balance. Alright, so did all this. Can adjust this part of her hand a bit. And I don't know, we'll just give this some squiggle. Okay. So we got big blood orange. Let me just crop some of this so we don't have to use it. Canvas. The sides look kind of fine, so let's just do that. To here. Here. There we go. Okay, what part of her do I not feel like coloring? Probably the stomach line stuff. So let's make that her primary. Because everything else is pretty simple on her. I can color that. You. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I did do it. So I don't feel like coloring those lines, so I'm just gonna color this. And watch how somehow that bites me in the ass. Yeah, because her teeth and hair and all that are different colors. Look at this chunky croc. Well, she's gonna be probably mistaken as an alligator at this point. No, she's not gonna have the lines on her neck. There we go. She chunky. Chunky. I should do that for like a donation thing where it should be like depending on the amount it should be French fry from the chicken nugget series saying thick thighs save lives baby, and then just have a picture of like a thick character for the notification. Maybe have Jam doing like a little jiggle or something. There we go. Oh yeah, I should probably check Discord just to make sure. I am not typing to them right now because I am busy. See. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, got all that. Alright. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Oh yeah, I should probably save. That would be a smart thing to do. Part of me is all like, is this detail going to be seen? Are people going to notice this detail? And I'm like, dude, it's fine. You can leave things alone if you need to. But then it'll be in the back of my mind, so I just fill it in anyway. Like these little openings of color here and there. I was like, no, I gotta do it. Cat Mick. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, some parts of her I'll have to brighten up when I do the rendering. Hello, hello, Alex. You should have saw the stream yesterday. Got all the new characters for Arc Knights. Like, almost immediately. And then showing off Tamimi's thick tail. Yes, I was humming the Terminator theme for a moment. Alright, now for her teeth and nails. I was getting my ass handed to me in Skullgirls. I was so goddamn rusty. At least I didn't lose all the games then, but I only won like 3 out of 11, I think it was. So, gotta swim with the fishes playing Skullgirls, or swim with the sharks playing Skullgirls, because everybody's a shark in that game. Especially if you're rusty with certain matchups, you're like, oh shit, this character can do this. And then you gotta pay attention to everybody's weight, because certain characters are heavier than others. Like, Double, for example, is a fat ass. Oh, you got 2 of her? That's not bad. Oh, cool, and you got Gabia. That's good. That's a good run. I mean, Double's into Vor and Tentacles, so she's a good package. Because she does eat, in her storyline at least, she does devour the air quotes candidates. So she does Vor. Getting these stray areas. I don't mind playing Skullgirls again after working on this. Play for a little while, and then I don't think I'll call it for today. While I work on Patreon stuff off stream. And then tomorrow I'm gonna do Picardo. Maybe around maybe the same time, just to keep it consistent. But then after that I'm gonna make a schedule for the weeks, so that way I'm not streaming all the time, but I'll stream enough to keep me going, like keep the rhythm up, and then have the empty days be for like working on Patreon stuff and comics and all that. Yeah, sorry, I didn't notice your thing. New event fun. Yeah, the cart thing was interesting. It took me a moment to realize what I was doing with it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's these little things that we can buff up and use in the events. So that's going to be interesting once the harder levels unlock. Maybe I'll play some Smasher too, just to chill for a moment. Okay, did those. Luckily Blood Orange here has all the needed colors. Actually, this should be pink, but whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting event. I like it. The music that plays on the last level for the first set of levels is fucking awesome. It's like super hype. And now I'm blanking out on how I color these. Let me look at. I don't know why I'm blinking out on it, but I am. Skylar, where are you? There you are. How do I color? Is that how I do? Apparently it is. Okay. I'm gonna like second guess myself on that one. Yeah, that makes sense, because that way it doesn't blend in with the tongue. It's like, how do I art? Fridays are no good. Good to know. If I can, I will try to adjust something a little, just so it's a little bit more balanced out, if I can. Maybe like a Wednesday or something. Or can always just throw in gaming randomly. So like after I do some art, I'd play a game or something. Try to balance that out. Don't change things. I know, but yeah, I like having you in chat. You're always chill. And you also encourage some debauchery. There we go. Ta-da. I don't know why I didn't do that from the start, but whatever. Okay. So got pretty much all the important stuff. Now I just gotta do her top and the knife. Or at this point it almost looks like a freaking axe. I was about to say, I was like, what color is your top? Or like, how deep of a gray is it? Good. Yeah, big girl need big knife. She chunky. There we go. Yeah, like, obviously she'll get fat in the comics and stuff like that for whatever ridiculous reason. Can just make her fit the horror thing, and then, like, after she's done putting her victims through it, they just kind of wake up and think that it was all a dream. Or whatever, she can, like, eat their organs and then heal them back up. And then she's just stuffed with their original organs or something. You know, whatever whatever nonsense that comes to mind when I finally get around to her. It's all up in the air until I draw it. Just big meat. Oh yes, weight gain will always be a guilty pleasure. Not for me though. I was just like, nah, I like it. What is a guilty pleasure for me? I have no idea. Like, I know what I don't like, but I don't know what would be considered a guilty pleasure in my context. Da, da, da. Think I got... Nope. No, I did not. There we go. Enhance. I love how, like, police shows, whenever they find, like, certain evidence of all this, like, oh, can you enhance the image? And they just do it in, like, a second. It's like, bitch, with that poor-ass quality camera, there's no fucking way you got that kind of clarity. It's like, that was a 99-cent camera. You did not... you did not get your systems to figure that shit out. It's like, if you want to dream, sure, but good lord, that is not happening. Okay, now I probably... Hold on. What does your scissors have? Nope. You got two colors I can use. There we go. Why is it all blurry? We zoomed in. Exactly. You gotta get a higher resolution. It's not about whether or not it can zoom in, because if it can zoom in, cool, but if it's not giving you clarity, then there's no point. You're better off just staying zoomed out and piece it together. Eyeball that shit. But yeah, high-end cameras are definitely the better route if you're really serious about security. Porky lizard hot. Oh yeah, she just uses whatever weapon, but she definitely likes big scissors because she likes Clock Tower. Like, show her any horror-based thing, and she'll be like, "Oh my god, that's so amazing." She'll probably have opinions on each individual one, but she'll most likely favor the classics. And like, as much as she likes like the chainsaw, it's obviously too loud, so it's just gonna alert everybody to where she is anyway. With that said, it didn't seem to be a problem for fucking Leatherface. He just fucking shows up with that shit. It's like, I'm just gonna chase you with this chainsaw. I'm like, wait, what? Alright, don't need this one anymore. Do do need these. There we go. Imagine her with a peeler, good lord. Yeah, that's just gonna be her excuse for every time she uses a different weapon from a movie. She's like, I saw it in a movie, thought it'd be cool. She definitely likes the whole the Grudge series, because she just likes like overall creepiness. She doesn't like it being too much of a thriller, like too actiony, because then it just takes away from the whole scariness of it. And she definitely doesn't like it when monsters or supernatural beings can just be easily defeated by some ridiculous nonsense. It's like, oh, this creature's been here for 1,000 years, and yet somehow these modern day suburban people can't deal with, or can suddenly deal with her. Just even though all the other sources for how they figured out how to defeat the creature came from like old books and shit like that. It's like, wait, if you guys already had the information on how to stop these things, then why the fuck was it a problem? And then if you already stopped it then, what the fuck caused it to come back? I mean, granted, there's usually a story element for that part. But, I don't know. It just seems like when the characters are just given the answers, it's bullshit. That's why I like the first Sinister movie, because there was no answer to that. It was just, no. Here's this entity that is going to fuck with you. And, you know, royally mess with you with the spirits of dead children and shit. And you're just gonna have to sit there and take it. There was like no answer to that. I didn't see the second movie because I heard it wasn't that good in comparison. Which honestly, that movie Sinister did not need a sequel. But if I ever do check it out, then I'll have a better opinion of it. But I just like it when supernatural movies are like kept simple. Same thing for like my thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Like, I liked it better when it was more ghost focused, but the moment they started adding in science, it was like, okay, now you're trying to explain everything, and now it's gonna sound very convoluted. And it's like, oh, he just wants to be immortal or some shit, and I'm just like, no, we didn't need any of this. Just crazy guy kills kids, their spirits inhabit robots haunt pizzeria. Done. We didn't need anything more. You could have made like 1,000 sequels to that with all the same concept, just different creature designs and shit. And then done. Maybe you could explain why they would keep haunting different versions of themselves or something. Like, I don't know. They get dismantled, but then, you know, the spirits just continue on haunting the place regardless. Or anything attached to it. And then there you go. It doesn't have to be this giant narrative about, oh, it's about this family and blah 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 blah, and oh, this person's sorry that this person died. And it's like, no, I don't need any of that. Just make it about spooky ghost children inhabiting robots. Yep. And you can even make it that they can inhabit more than one robot, thus the whole Five Nights at Freddy's 2 having multiple machines tripping out. I kind of like that in It Part 2. They do the whole ritual and it's just never worked to begin with. Yeah. Like, I like it when it's just like, it's like, oh, let's do this, and it's just like, wait, what? By chance, have you heard of the horror movie Crazy Fat Ethel? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Let me check. Discord. No, I have not heard of that. That's crazy though. It looks pretty much like this. That's funny. Yeah, I've never heard of it until now. But yeah, I just like it when ghost stories are kept simple enough where it's not overly complicated. And then I like it where, like, I don't mind if people figure out how to defeat a ghost. I just don't like it when it's like, here's all the answers written in some old ass book, and it's like, okay, if you're able to deal with it, then why is this a problem? Because, like, you know how those movies are. It's like most of the time, once they deal with the spirit or whatever the case, or the monster or whatever the case may be, then it's just over and done with. It's just a happy ending and that's it. Obviously, in like sequels and stuff, there's something to bring it back, but that's usually just for plot. But it's like, okay, if it was dealt with in the past, then it shouldn't be an issue now, because if it's dealt with now, and there's like no remnants of it or whatever storyline they come with, then it begs the question, why didn't it work before? And sometimes movies explain that, and other times they don't. It's just like, nah, we have the answer, and I don't know, it was just there. And it's always like an old person who's dealt with it before. And then sometimes the old person dies, but other times the old person helps out in the last moment or some shit. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh no, my one weakness is in the same place that I chill at. Cool. It's like, oh yeah, that amulet that can seal me away forever? It's just gonna be coincidentally in the pool. It's like, what the fuck? It's almost like video game logic. It's like, oh no, who could have thought that my one weakness would be my giant glowing eyeball? Who could have possibly guessed that? But yeah, like, they could have even just made it, like, for a Five Nights series, they could have just made it so that, like, they like, maybe you could explain the initial game, like the first game of, like, okay, children died and they inhabited this, the pizzeria or whatever, and you can even just say that they basically cursed the franchise in general, so that way people just know, oh, these kids died, now anything related to this franchise is basically haunted. So that way, each time there's like a new game or whatever, it can be like a new facility, or even like a company tries to rename themselves or something like that. But like the ghosts just continue on to fuck with it. So you have all these like crazy ass designs, and they just get more creepy and shit. Like, come on, you got Mangle, for example. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, we were tired of putting it back or fixing it, so we just turned it into a put together, take it apart toy for kids. And I'm like, that thing is spewing like radio fucking sounds and shit, and just talking random nonsense. Kind of a weird decision, but okay. Have I read any of the books? No, but I know of the shit that happens in the books, and they all sound stupid and ridiculous. Like Phasgu. Or, hey, here's this little girl who's being secretly having her limbs surgically removed from her to give to a robot so the robot can have its own body. But the robot gives her like an amulet or whatever to keep her from realizing that she's become basically a pile of junk. And the moment she takes it off, or the moment she figures out that she's a pile of junk, she just ceases to exist. She just falls apart and just stops living. And I'm like, wait, what? Or the guy who works at one of the security places, and then these little dolls keep slipping inside of his body because he's apparently that hard of a sleeper that he doesn't realize that they're going down his throat. So he basically vores a shit ton of little puppet things, and I think he said he was gonna go see a doctor, but he just doesn't at the last moment. And then, of course, the puppets are trying to like fill his body to the brim, and seemingly he explodes, but it cuts off before we find out if that's the case. So there's that. I know, right? Kinky. But then there's the time machine ball pit. There's that bullshit. So I don't know how the books are being taken as partially canon at this point, because it's like, you guys just fill it with nonsense that doesn't even make sense to read. But you're gonna like name drop certain characters that are gonna get pushed over to the main series. But then that gets more convoluted, because like, oh, this is this guy who's experimenting with souls and shit. And I was like, do we really need this? All we needed was just, here's the guy who killed the kids in part 3, and now he's like a mummified corpse. Or, well, not mummified, but like his corpse is inside one of the robots that's basically on autopilot. Which is already creepy as it is. Because that's like, you have an animatronic that's old and dirty and decrepit, and then you find out that there's a dead body inside of a child murderer. And because the robot still functions, it's on autopilot. So now you just have a walking corpse wandering around a fucking haunted house. Like, that's fucking cool. There was no reason to make that more complicated. Yes, time machine ball pit. I shit you not, that is a thing. So yeah, I don't follow the books, because the books just make it sound stupider. Or like, here's Baby, but she's not Baby, she's Eleanor, or whatever the fuck her name is. But she looks like Baby, but they made her like Rule 34 Baby. Like, obviously she's not showing any bits or whatever, but they just make her like look more slender and humanoid. And I'm just like, what is the point of this character? Just use Baby if that was going to be the case. But it's like, no, this is how it is, and it's different. And I'm just like, it's different, but you didn't make it better. You just made it dumb. So yeah, like the book, like nobody wants to take the book seriously, but they keep trying to make the books relevant. And it's just really, really, really dumb. It's like, fuck it, I'll make my own Five Nights at Freddy's with blackjack and hookers. And like, even if you're gonna make like a sexy robot or whatever, there's ways to still make that creepy. Like that fairy in Wally's Wonderland. Like, that thing was creepy. And even like the recent characters like Roxanne Wolf and Glamrock Chica, like, you can still make them creepy despite having notable curves. It's like, damn, I'm about to die, but I'm gonna die happy right now. It's like, yo, Chica's got an ass. Or hips, in her case. And then Roxanne's personality is already like a fun time, because you just want to know more about the characters, which is a shame that when Security Breach came out, we didn't get like any initial intro to the storyline. Like, we don't get to see the characters normally before they close and you're stuck in the pizzeria. Like, we don't get to see them just be normal. Like, we see them jam out on the stage, and we see that moment with Chica and Roxanne just kind of chilling. But that's it. Like, after that point, they're all just after you. And they never explain how any of the characters know your name. Because like, Freddy asks, he's like, "Oh, who are you?" And Gregory tells him his name and all that, and that's how Freddy gets information. but we don't get any information from the other characters, or for the other characters to know who the hell Gregory even is. Because even Vanessa just says there's some kid wandering around the pizzeria. But then later on, she's like, she just starts saying his name and shit. I'm like, bitch, how the fuck do you even know my name? Like, they could have just wrote it off just saying, oh, if Freddy knows, then suddenly it's, like, updated in the databanks or something, and that's how the others know. Imagine cutting off a boob from Chica and it hatches into a hideous chick robot zombie thing. You know, that would probably be a book thing where, like, an animatronic falls apart and then it becomes, like, more weird animatronics. That's kind of like Nightmare Freddy, sort of, when he has the frettles, those little mini Freddys that are on him. It's almost like that. There was a comic that surfaced online about Gregory rescuing the other. Oh yeah, I thought that was cute. I saw that, where he goes and fixes all the robots and become his friends, and they all chill and hang out. I saw that. I thought that was cute. Yeah, like, I get more information from the characters from fan comics where all the characters are just fucking chill. and like a little angsty here and there. Like, some of the characters get pissed off when the others kind of take their spotlight. Like, there was one of, I think it was like gender swapped Roxanne and oh fuck, what is his name? And Monty. And basically, Roxanne takes over Monty's solo, and it just pisses off Monty, and she, like, or whatever their gender swap names are, and you just see them, like, having, like, a, you know, a personal crisis about it. So, like, I get more information from fan shit than I do from the actual games. And even when I get information from the fan shit, it's not going to be canon. So it just hurts even more, because it's like, man, you get all this cool information from fan shit, and then none of it gets fucking used. And even, like, in the games, when the actual game tries to set up something that's actually interesting, it just gets retconned or overly explained. So anything that was going to be cool just becomes shitty. Maybe not everything, but, like, a good chunk of stuff. Mostly between, from FNAF VR to Security Breach, because VR sets up everything very, very, very well. AR kinda does that, but some of the information you have to actually dig into the data of the game in order to get, so they kinda drop the ball on that, because it's actual information that you can't find normally. Whereas all the previous games, most of the shit you could find normally. Maybe there was, like, a little Easter egg in the data, but it wasn't, like, super critical compared to later games. But then after VR and AR, you get Security Breach, and Security Breach tried to do way too much shit. Supercell Alpaca. Yeah, I'll have to remember to see if I'm following them. Or I can do that right now. Let me just make sure. Copy. Twitter. Yeah. Let me follow them. But yeah, it's just, FNAF has so much potential, and, like, certain games just kind of ruin that potential. Like, even Sister Location was pushing it. Like, I would say Sister Location was, like, the limit for introducing science into the series. But then, when you get, Pizzeria Simulator, it was just kind of like, there was no real reason for a lot of stuff to happen. Like, a lot of the information you get doesn't even make sense, or not make sense, but, like, you don't even get it initially. You have to, like, actually go out of your way to find out what happened, what transpires between FNAF 5 and FNAF 6, because if you were to play the games without having any other outside information, you would just play the initial game of, okay, Baby and all the other animatronics make this amalgamation and they take over your body. That's all you get. And then if you play FNAF 6, suddenly Baby is separated from the initial group and she looks like a bunch of junk put together, and now she has a lobster claw. And then you have Molten Freddy, who's supposed to be technically entered, or like the remainder of that, and you don't have any context to what the fuck happened there. And then you have Springtrap, which I guess technically you get that explained if you play the custom night for Sister Location. But like, he looks dramatically different compared to his first model, because he just looks like a peanut in the 6th game, whereas he looked 10 times better in FNAF 3. And then you get Lefty, and Lefty is just like, what the fuck is this character? And you have to like really pay attention and find some secrets to find out that Lefty is basically the puppet. Which that also brings up some questions, because you gotta remember, a lot of this shit happens after FNAF 3, and FNAF 3 is supposed to be 30 years later. From what time point we don't really know, because it doesn't really give you an exact year. So you kind of have to find that out yourself. So, could be in the 2020s or something like that. Oh no, it's probably like the 2010s. If we're going off of the 80s or 90s from the first 2 games. Hello, Pablo. But yeah, there's just... Oh yeah. A lot of the feminine characters get some curves from that comic. I love how everybody just takes Roxanne and Glamrock Chica from Security Breach and just makes them into each other. Just makes them gay. and it totally makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see that. It's like not even outlandish, it's just like, nah, that makes sense. Whereas like most other situations, certain pairings just don't make sense at all. And then Glamrock Freddy is just a himbo. I am drawing Blood Orange right now. One of my characters. It's like, Gregory, have you ever heard of Among Us? I was laughing with the whole venting thing. That shit was funny. But that was a good part of the game. The biggest flaw with Security Breach, though, is you being able to run around, because you can literally see all the danger coming, and there's no like there's no like actual scare that you're not prepared for. Like, there wasn't like a moment where you just freaked the fuck out because something you weren't expecting suddenly appeared. Extra juicy blood orange. I should definitely do artwork of just the girls wearing like more casual outfits. And Plum gives Jam some short shorts that say juicy on them. Yeah, Gregory, you need to go into Roxy's room and get her phone. You need her OnlyFans account. It's very critical that you do this, Gregory. Yeah, see, the fan shit just makes it more fun. But like, definitely the characters would have benefited more if we got to see them normal. Because like, you gotta remember, there was like no game where we see any of the characters just like, you know, being normal before they freak out. Like, even if there was like just a mode, or even like a single night or something, where you get to see the characters before you get trapped inside, that would make way more sense. Like, you could even have it where the game starts off, like, even if it was like the older Five Nights games, you could have it where you get like the first hour of seeing like all the animatronics just like chilling, and that gives you time to like prepare for the night, for your night shift. That would actually be a neat mechanic where you'd have to like run around and prepare for the long night of dealing with them. They kind of there's kind of a game like that. I forget what it was called, but I think Markiplier played it. It had to do with like that big giant was she a mouse? It was like this big thick mouse woman, and you had to protect her son from like this thing that's like completely pale, but you have to like put like set up a bunch of traps for the monster, because like the monster can only get you within like a certain time limit. So if you distract him long enough, then he has to leave without you. I forget what the name of the game was. Yeah, I think it was Thing Behind the Window or something like that. Or Man Behind the Window, yeah. I think it was that. Make Home Alone traps in the mall. Yeah, like, they should have given you more. Like, they should have just condensed the mall so that it wasn't so freaking huge, and just given you something to actually do in the mall. Because a lot of times in Security Breach, you're just walking around doing nothing. It's just all a collectathon. Like, I'm completely fine having different versions of the characters, like Toy Chica being slender, because, you know, that definitely awakened a few people. Because it's like, oh no, it's Chica, then they're like, damn. It's like, what the hell happened to you, Chica? Because she was already chonky in her original form, and then you get Toy Chica going like, oh, okay, hello. It's like, are we sure this is for kids? It's like, no, this was made for the adults, definitely. Give the husbands, when they take their kids to the pizzeria to go play, that's for them to look at. It's like, sir, why are we putting boobs on this robot? It's like don't you understand? And it's like, are you gonna tell me? And like, no, like you should know. It's totally understandable. It's like, sir, are you gonna tell me? It's like, we made the boobs for the adults. Come on. It's like, so why is she wearing short shorts again for the adults? Dummy thick Toy Chica. I'll be honest, I prefer her with the beak. Just looks better, personally. But then again, I liked it better when I thought Chica was a duck. Before finding out her name. Because she clearly looked like a duck. But then they made it more like, nah, she's a chicken. Which is perfectly fine, but you know, I like ducks more, but it's cool. I can work with it. Just anytime I draw that version of Chica from now on, I'm just gonna make her have a duck bill. And then when people try to correct me, it'll be like, no, she has a duck bill in the original game. Fuck you. Can you send links? Nah, I'm keeping links off for chatter, just in case some idiot tries to dump in something that shouldn't be there. If it's the Man in the Window, I'm pretty sure I can find it because I remember Markiplier playing it, so I can find it myself. But yeah, like that game was fun for how short it was. Like I like the mechanics for leave the donuts open, put the couch in front of the door so that way it takes him a while to get through the door. He gets distracted with the donuts. And then there's like other little things to prevent him from figuring out where you are, and you have to do it in a particular order. So that way he goes through the chain of events in a certain way, and that way he uses up all of his time to find you and your mom. Or to find the family. Yeah. And that was like a really good game. Like, you could totally expand on that a little bit, and like obviously don't go overboard, but like you can totally make that even better very easily. So like you could even take ideas from that and put that into Five Nights, and that would be great. And all it boiled down to is like, okay, how can you make it so that the animatronics don't get you so easily? And then obviously you'd like get resources and stuff to prepare for. So like, but that would give you a chance to like see all the animatronics normally through in the beginning of the game. Just like say they give you an hour, which is like what? Let's just say 10-15 minutes gameplay wise. Maybe even less than that for when the nights get harder. Like you get like less time to prepare, and then go from there. Like there are ways to make that interesting. But yeah, I would say the first 4 games are probably peak FNAF. 5 was a good way to like give you a narrative and a few things to do, but the problem was is that they like show you mechanics, but then they're mechanics that you're not going to use for the rest of the game. Like it would have been interesting where if they, as the nights progressed, you had to like perform all of the duties that the game's been showing you, minus probably the spring locks moment, because that they can give you like a different job for that or whatever, to replace that with. But yeah, like they could have made it where like each night you have to learn something, and then on like the final night or even like the 6th or 7th night, you have to put all of that into practice. You just had me on talking while we're playing a game. That's fine. Yeah, I'm just yammering like I usually do. But yeah, it's like part of me wants to like make versions of certain stories and just try to do it the way I do it in another light or whatever. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, I can just make my own thing with whatever idea I come up with. So I'm like in a conundrum because it's like I want to make like a fan whatever, so like either a fan comic or even like a short video or something. It's like I want to do fan stuff, but then I'm like I can just take those ideas and apply it to me for my own things. Technically, I can always do both, but it's like which one would I do first scenario. So I'm just kind of like up in my own head about doing fan related stuff. Which reminds me, I still need to finish that Fans on a comic that I've been not working on. Because I'm kind of just like, with it. But I could probably get it done if I sat down for like a few days. Because it's not really anything complicated now. It's just, okay, here comes robot tentacles and do that for a while. It's basically where it's supposed to go. So yeah, one of these days I'll chip away at that. Maybe I'll do Gretchen for the next art set collection. She could be fun. Can even like make it so that Chewy is hypnotizing her to gorge herself with blood or whatever. That'd be a fun time. Yeah, that could be something I work on. Good luck. I know very little of Terraria, but good luck. Yeah, like I could have Chewy just like cramming meat or whatever into Gretchen's mouth, or teasing her. It's like, oh goodness, look how chunky you're getting. It's like somebody really likes being a vampire. Like, you know, just have some playful teasing while Gretchen's getting fatter. And then, like I said, I'm gonna, after this week's streams, I'm gonna set up a schedule so that way I have days where I'm streaming, days where I'm not streaming. That way I have time to just, you know, spend a day working on critical artwork. And then I want Sundays to be the not safe for work days. But those I'm thinking of doing at night, so that way during the day I can still work on like critical stuff, and then at night I can work on the risque stuff. So that'll be fun. Like, I know of Terraria, I just know very little of it. If anything at all. I probably don't remember shit, to be honest. I probably have to hear something like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. Let's see. Got this, did all that. Big Tum. Do this, switch darkness just a little bit more. Alright. Okay, we can move on to the next part. Damn, it's already been 2 hours? Multiply. Put you at 80. Bump. Ask someone that has 1K hours anything about the game. Honestly, I wouldn't even. I know very little of the game to ask anything. So it'll probably just be something I'll randomly look up or something. Like, I vaguely remember what it even looks like. I'll have to like brush up on it if I'm interested. Viro wants to be the very best. Like, no. Oh god, you reminded me of the Furrymon video. That shit was funny. Definitely makes me want to make small animations of something. That's another thing I want to try to... Well, definitely going to brush up on how to fucking use the animation tool for Clip Studio, because God help me, I could not remember what the fuck to do on that thing. Because I hadn't used it in so long. So, once I brush up on that, I would like to animate more little short things, and even maybe make some GIFs or whatever for Twitch when I'm able to unlock that feature. If I haven't already. But yeah, like, I would like to animate stuff again. Even if it's only like a few frames. Or, you know, maybe tackle something bigger, but just, you know, do it piece by piece. I mean, that's animation in general. they're all just a bunch of pieces put together to make a scene. Let's do 400. There you go. Look at this chunky belly. Chunky. Do. Yeah, the next step is getting my daily routines organized, because I'm making myself stream more so I can build up a routine and habits and stuff like that, and then just slowly put them all together so that way I have like a consistent routine going, because like I'm trying to really take this year seriously, because there's a lot I want to do and I just need to push for it. So I am going to try harder than I've ever done before. Got this, got this, got this. There we go. Of course I'm going to read that thinking about the Pokemon jingle. Yeah, she is very orangey. Okay, got that. I'm not going to color that part because I want it to be dark. Or not going to erase that part because I want it to be dark. I'm just erasing parts of the hair to have some shadow in it. And then once Jam's art or drive ends, I might do a voting thing on who the next drive character will be. And I was thinking of putting up 3 guests, and then one of the characters will be mine, because there'll be 4 characters to choose from. Because I'm gonna cherry pick from the drive ones, and then just go from there. Because I think doing 3 of my characters and then 1 guest character for the drives will help balance it out. What game do I play the most? Currently Arknights. That's the game I've been playing the most because it's easy to jump into do the dailies and whatever other missions I have to do for like events or something, and then just jump out. So currently, Arknights is the game I play the most. And it's really player friendly when it comes to all the gacha aspects of it. Are there any other artists that have expressed interest in my work? In what way? Like, just interest in what I draw in general? Because, like, other people who draw have said, have liked what I've done here and there, but, like, very few that actually follow me. Or, like, you know, that I actually talk to on a regular basis. They just know I draw risque stuff. Because I'm the... not token risque furry artist, but seemingly like that. At least it feels that way. But in terms of furry art, it's like, oh, they're super chill with it. In terms of the risque stuff, that's when they're like, well, they don't like dislike it, but they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, suit yourself. More for me. They are afraid of crossing or going into the dark side. They don't want to learn the dark arts. That's what I should just call it now. If you do not safe for work art or whatever, something that's outside of the norm, just call it the dark arts. Just makes it sound cool. We're wizards now. It's like, yes, I practice the dark arts. I really love fat furs, don't I? I mean, they're one aspect that I like, yes. I like other things. Like, hold on. Like, I like the whole, like, tentacle stuff. I like, different body types, whether it be gigantic boobs or pear-shaped or turning characters into a robot or something. Like, goes all over the place. Fine with Fuda, because like if you look at the Creamfast character, the Creamfeld characters, they're a giant variety of different aspects, despite still catering to the weight gain theme. But if you ignore that, they all have their own individual stuff too. So that's a pretty decent list of stuff I like. And then there's like hypnotism, there's the Vor, of course, and then size difference, macro, micro. As another risque furry artist that like my work in OC's experience. No, I'm not popular enough to get fan art like that. I am not popular. Or even that. I'm not even well known, so no, that ain't happening. I'd have to somehow work my way up to some ridiculous tier to get noticed like that. Or if any of them are following me, I have no idea. I think the only time I got like any acknowledgement like that was from Jay Axer, who worked on the Archie Sonic comics for a time, and this was like a long ass time ago, but I forget which picture it was, but he said he liked some of my artwork, and that was before I even knew that they worked on Sonic, so that was a fun thing to find out later on. But yeah, it was like on some old ass artwork. I'd have to figure out how to find the comment. But yeah, that was a good time. But yeah, that was years ago. I think that was like in 2006, between 2006 or 2008 or something like that. So yeah, that was my moment of acknowledgement. That was it. Oh, you drew Jam at one point. And then there was that random artwork somebody drew of Skylar and Marcy. They didn't know what Marcy's fur patterns were, but yeah, or well, fur was, but yeah, there was that one random artwork that somebody drew of Skylar and Marcy that was really fucking good, but they didn't leave a name or anything, so I don't have a fucking clue who the hell drew it. Like, I can show the fan art, because it's nothing crazy. Let's see. GIFs. Because I have some fan art here and there, just not from, like, well-known furries or anything like that. But yeah, I do have, like, some fan art here and there that I've saved. Where are you? You're around here somewhere. No. Ah, here it is. Like, I have no idea who the hell drew this. It was really good, and I have no clue who drew it. So yeah, I would love to at least credit them, because it's like, shit, this is really good. I have no clue who drew it, though. One day I should just try to search my name somewhere and find out, and try to figure out who made it. Because it was on U18chan, but then at one point U18chan got nuked, so they lost like a lot of content. So that was around that point. It was there before that happened, so it being on that site, or finding out who did it on that site, is probably going to be impossible. But like, I would assume they would post that artwork somewhere else, like a Twitter or something. But I could try to do a look for an image thing at one point, so maybe I'll try that after the stream. Try to use like Google image search, try to find it that way. In fact, let me see how quickly that can go. Google image search. I don't think it'll work the way I'm thinking. Oh wait, maybe it will. No, it's not gonna work that way. Wait, why do they have advanced search but search is spelled wrong? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find it the way I'm thinking. No, I haven't looked at Edgerunner. Like, right after getting off the stream, one of my friends needed to talk to me. So I ended up hanging out with her for a while. But, like, I've seen some of Edgerunners. I just haven't sat down and watched it. It'll have to be a day where I just sit and chill. So maybe tonight, because I'll be watching Kamen Rider. So that'll give me some time to just sit and chill. There we go. But yeah, hold on. Can I actually search this the way I'm thinking? Probably not, but let's find out. Right click. No, it's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna do it the way I'm thinking. Unless maybe it's in properties I can find something. Because it bugs me that I don't know who drew it. Oh well. If I can find out, I'll try. Would be neat. Wrong button. There we go. Check Discord and make sure I'm not missing anything critical. Nope. The next page is going to be Black Circus. I'm slowly working on that. I'll grind that out tonight. It's going to take a while because there's going to be a lot of dick sucking going on. Oh yeah, you have this strand over here. There you go. Draw the Afro Circus page. Probably a typo. I've never seen Madagascar 3. I've only seen the first one. There's just certain movies where I'm just like, these didn't need a sequel. And I just kind of leave in that area. Kind of like after Toy Story 3, I didn't feel they needed to make a 4. And 4 just kind of goes against the whole point of 3. I was like, oh, this is about togetherness. And like, you know what? I'm just going to ditch you guys for some pussy. That was basically what the plot was. Which is weird because they changed how Bo Peep functions anyway. Because she's not supposed to be like a normal doll. She's supposed to be a porcelain doll. Or like an object. She's not like a movable. She's not supposed to have movable features. Like I can say they exaggerated with her arms and all that because to try to give her some figure, but like there's like literal toys who can't move their body parts to a degree because that's how they were designed. I'll take a look. I don't recall seeing that scene at all. Like, not even in clips. I'll have to like check it out at some point. Go on an epic quest for gold. Good luck with D&D, especially what fucking Hasbro's trying to do with it. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have a issue with any problems, but for everyone else who's trying to do something major with D&D, good luck with that shit. Because that stuff is getting ridiculous. They're already starting to fuck up Magic. But I'm like, guys, this is very simple. Just don't fuck it up. It's like, when you're making Yu-Gi-Oh look good, then that's a problem. And I like Yu-Gi-Oh! So, if I'm telling you that that's a problem, then that's a problem. Okay, I think we're good on this. Go to the next part. Yu-Gi-Oh's not always good. I would argue a lot of it becomes really... What's the best way of phrasing it? Really ridiculous in how quickly the game ends and you barely get to play. Even to the point where you can lose the game on the at the very start. Like turn 0, technically. That's why I always see Yu-Gi-Oh! As like the Marvel vs. Capcom of card games. And like Magic is Street Fighter. Well, because like they've literally gotten to the point where if you don't start off with certain cards in your hand, you're basically just not gonna win or not even gonna be able to play. And then there's so many cards that negate everything you do that you'd be surprised that if you would be surprised if you even get past turn 1. Or if the game goes longer than like turn 5 or turn 4 or something like that. Like, getting past that point is a freaking luxury. Because, like, there are people who can make, like, okay, it's the first turn, I'm going to fill up the entire field with all these boss cards. 3 or 4 of them can negate everything you do. One of them will probably deal damage in some ridiculous way. Or just give me more hand advantage. And it'll probably recycle or do whatever nonsense that'll probably kill me on the first turn, if not the next turn. Setting 2 cards is not even a thing. Like, if you set cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, you're just asking to get your ass kicked. Like, trap cards are that bad in Yu-Gi-Oh because they require a turn to work. That's why they made trap cards that trigger from the hand. That's how bad that mechanic has gotten. And very rarely are there like card effects where it's like, oh, you can activate this trap the turn you play it, or the turn you set it on the field. Like, you have to actually go out of your way for cards like that to be able to do anything with trap cards. And if you do have a trap card that you manage to set on the field, hopefully it doesn't get negated. That's basically it, really. It's like, here's this trap, here's this trap. Is it gonna get destroyed? Is it gonna get negated? Is it gonna get banished? And then sometimes cards that are like really, really, really critical to the game that you like actually need in order to fucking play are like very scarce in supply because Konami is very bad at reprinting those particular cards. So it just makes them more and more expensive if you're trying to obtain any of them. And then like certain cards that are supposed to be more common that would help you in the game, the English version of those cards are purposely either removed from the structure decks that they're supposed to be in, or whatever pack that they came in, their rarity gets bumped up dramatically to make it even harder for you to get them. And then on top of that is the scarcity problem. So like if they don't print out enough sets of those cards, then you're just shit out of luck because you either got to spend a lot of money to even get them, or you're just not going to find them at all. So it's like good luck with that. And then if you're playing off of the ban list and stuff like that, then you gotta keep in mind that they're gonna purposely make certain cards better for like a long time, so that way you're going out of your way to buy them. And then once they come out with another set, so they can try to, promote those cards, then the cards that you went out of your way to get and, got the new set and shit like that, there's a high chance that those cards are going to get either restricted more for you can only have a certain number of copies in a deck, or just flat out banned, depending on the situation. And like depending on how broken those cards were or something. Or just like not even broken, just troublesome. So you're going to have moments where that can happen. I do like how in Yu-Gi-Oh! Older cards have a chance to shine because older cards weren't taken into account for certain mechanics in the future. So they end up becoming like really fucking good based on how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is currently. And then it's just a matter of, will that old card get banned? Or will they like ban whatever it is that supports that old card? Or at least heavily limit it. So there's like those situations. And then you just have like some cards that just have no fucking support whatsoever, like Gate Guardian. It's like, wow, we get like six runs of Dark Magician and Blue Eyes and Red Eyes support, but God help you if we get anything that makes Gate Guardian good. Because currently the only way to play Gate Guardian, I think outside of like one particular trap card that I think allows you to play it, I'd have to read it to find out. But outside of that, you have to get Suijin's, Kazujin, and Sangha out on the field, and then sacrifice them to play Gate Guardian. And even then, Gate Guardian's not even that good, because there's now currently so many fucking cards that can do Gate Guardian's job, but better. Because all Gate Guardian was like the first level 11 monster with like decently high attack power. That was it. It had no other effects. It couldn't like use the abilities of the other monsters that you needed in order to play it in the first place. Like if they were gonna make Gate Guardian good, they'd have to make, well, obviously they make a retrain of it, and then the retrain would probably gain like all these other ridiculous abilities just to make it useful. And then they would probably incorporate the original Gate Guardian, to that way the format would be, or the mechanic would be good. Kind of like what they did with Valkyrian the Magna Warrior. Like they made like a whole bunch of new cards and retrains and stuff like that, but then they incorporated the older cards, so that way they could still be used. And those were really good. But yeah, like it's like, okay, we got enough Dark Magician and Blue Eyes support. Can we just buff up other cards now? And we don't need this strand. And this is coming from a dragon player. I like to play dragon monsters and all that. Well, not dragon specifically, just whatever aesthetic I think is pleasing. Because I like the hieratic monsters. I thought they were really cool. And then I like using other off-meta decks, such as the Pyramid cards. Pyramid is actually really cool. I like using that mechanic. And I've been using the Octo cards. Or Octoa, I think it is. It's like the snake gods. The snake deities are really cool. Yeah, like, I liked how they went out of their way to make those cards, you know, viable. So all they gotta do is just the exact same thing for Gate Guardian. Like, can even make a magic card where you can banish the 3 monsters to special summon Gate Guardian or the retrain of Gate Guardian from like your hand or graveyard or something to bring it out. And then have like another card to, you know, retrieve the pieces, the 3 monsters from being banished, so that way they're not wasted and they can be like immediately played on the field. Or even have like a card that's effect is, oh, the effect that they say they can turn a monster's attack power to 0 but can only do it once while they're on the field, can have like an effect that lets you do that once per turn instead, but then just, you know, have like some kind of penalty to balance it out, if any. Then again, I say that, but there's like so many monsters that have really broken abilities for like almost no penalty, that saying that making a monster's attack power become 0 once per turn isn't even a ridiculous request. Because like, if I just said that with no penalty, that's not even like broken in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's so many other monsters that can do more, even crazier shit. Like, even Dragoon, when he came out, was just like, why? It's like, here's a monster that can't be destroyed by card effects, can't be targeted by card effects, can't be, or if you use two of the normal monsters to fuse it, then he can destroy up to 2 monsters once per turn. You can destroy 2 monsters, then deal damage to your opponent equal to their attack power. And then, if your opponent plays a card effect, you can just straight up negate it by discarding a card. All that in one monster, and I'm just like, okay, cool, what's the downside? Yeah, and then even then, discarding cards from your hand isn't even a punishment, because a lot of monsters benefit from that nowadays. It's like, oh no, this card got sent into my graveyard. Guess I'll trigger its effect, or trigger one of my monster's effect that's on the field to get it back into the hand or field or deck or whatever the hell it does. Because a lot of monsters have the whole, oh, put it back into your deck, but then either get a monster and put it in your hand, or draw a card, or get something from your graveyard, or I don't know, whatever else the fuck they do. And then the extra deck is fucking ridiculous because the Link monsters just kind of show up. There's no like special requirements really to bring them out because they all do something ridiculous now. And then there's like cards where it just sends a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, but then the monster that got sent to the graveyard has its own effects that trigger. I forget what his name was, but there was one where it's like, if he's sent to the graveyard at all, like even from the extra deck, you can just destroy a card immediately. Just like that. So you just use like monsters or traps that do that, and so you get, not only are you getting their effects, but you're getting this random ass monster who can just destroy anything just for showing up. Or not even showing up, just for being used as requirement for something else. And it's just chilling in your extra deck, so it doesn't even have to be in your hand as a random resource. It's like, no, it's always available. It's just gonna sit there in the extra deck and you can have 3 of them. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! And other card games for when I'm working on my shit. Because I'm like, okay, even if I make this broken in a certain way, is everything else around the game making it like balanced out? And if not, I'm willing to like just make like a more nerfed version of the card, but still have the same effects because of the way the resources are in my game. And I just have to be mindful of like, are certain mechanics gonna make certain things easier or too easy? Like easier to do, or are they too easy? Because when they're too easy, then it becomes a problem. Easier just implies, okay, I'm not gonna fucking struggle to play this one card. Hell, it took them a while to make the God cards fucking viable. Oh yeah, there's no way that they could look. I mean, they would have, because currently there. Well, now that there's more, but there was like 10,000 cards. A lot of them are just normal monsters, so they could ignore all that. Some of them are just like monsters that don't even do much. They just like say, "Oh, give this monster 500 attack power, whatever." But then there's like a good chunk of monsters where it's like, okay, Cannon Soldier. Cannon Soldier's effect is sacrifice a monster, deal 500 damage. Back in the day, that was like a tall order because you could only summon like what, 2 monsters max in a turn, 3 if you're lucky with Call of the Haunted or something like that, or whatever card that got Monster Reborn back. Nowadays, you can summon so many goddamn monsters in a turn that Cannon Soldier basically became like fucking god. It's like, okay, I'll summon all these monsters, have them all do their ridiculous shit, then have Cannon Soldiers sacrifice them or whatever the case may be to just nuke your opponent. And that's just Cannon Soldier. We're not even talking about like crazier monsters that do his job even better. Yeah, and when the only god card that was viable was fucking Spear Mode, it wasn't even like Ra himself, it was like pre-order Ra. Or not pre-order, but like pre-build Ra. It's like, here's Ra in a Pokeball, and it's 10 times better than Ra itself. It's like, when you have that happening for a card that's supposed to be considered like S tier, at least in the canon of the anime, when its fucking Pokeball form is better than the actual card, then you have a problem. It's like, how do you even do that? I think she's fine this way. I might darken this a bit. It's like, man, when you hype up a card so hard and then you make it shit. Like, Raw needed like 6 other support cards just to be fucking viable. Nah, he needed more than 6. He needed like 10, maybe 12. Like that was sad. Luckily, the other two got support too, but damn. Like when Obelisk is viable just because he goes to the graveyard and you bring him back for one turn, that is an issue. That's how Obelisk was fucking viable. Just send his ass out, have him attack, and then sacrifice everything to nuke it if you needed to. Or whatever the case may be. Hell, they made Arcana Knight Joker more viable with some more support. Hell, they made Toons more relevant with Toon, what was it, Toon Red Eyes? Because Toon Red Eyes could just special summon a Toon from your hand immediately. And then fucking, what was it, Toon Blackluster Soldier was basically just Envoy at the beginning for Toons. And the hard part is I wish I could say it was like more of a skill issue where it's like, oh, you know, just get the cards you need. But like that's such a bad response to these situations, because that's like all the players that don't get it. That's always their response, like, oh, you know, just get the card you need, you know, just draw your out. And I'm like, so you're telling me that in order to get better at this game, I have to believe in the ability to draw the cards I need at the beginning of the game? Because you gotta remember, you die on turn 1. You're just fucked. You're fucked after turn 1. Yeah, use Toon Table of Context to get another Toon Table of Context to get another Toon Table of Context to get, what was it, Toon World or whatever other card you need, because nowadays you can do even more than that. Or like in an Exodia deck, you don't even use you put in Toon Table of Contents, but not to get Toon monsters or whatever. You just keep getting copies of itself. And then the 4th card, I think, was like Toon World or another Toon card or something like that. And that was to lower the deck count so you could get Exodia. And even then, that can be done way better now. You don't even need that shit. Believe in the heart of the cards. Funniest thing, like, that wasn't really even a thing in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, he had some belief, but that saying wasn't really a thing. I find it funny because in that version, Kaiba's a lot more chill. Like, he's still an asshole, but he's like, he actually respects Yugi a lot more in that version. And he's not blind to all the mystical shit. He's fully aware that some weird shit's happening. And he actually does acknowledge Joey in the Japanese version. Yeah, time. Hell, he even acknowledged Bakura when Bakura was playing against Yugi. Or Yami Yugi. He was just like, oh, okay, this is some crazy shit going on. Oh yeah, like, English Kaiba is totally fine. There's just some character moments that I wish were handled differently. Let me erase this line art here because this is bothering me. But Joey totally got fucking gypped out of beating Merrick. He was supposed to win. And I think narratively he was actually supposed to win. Because there's supposed to be like a duel where Joey actually does play against Yugi in order to get his red eyes back. But then that part of the storyline is just glossed over. And canonically it had to have happened because if you watch Dark Side of Dimensions, which is canonical to the manga, Joey does have Red Eyes Black Dragon. So he had to have dueled Yugi at one point and beat him. Which is what we get a glimpse of at the end of Battle City. But they totally gloss over it because it wasn't like the popular hype thing to do. Yeah, they do it off screen and it's really messed up. Because it's like, oh, we get all these filler episodes for whatever nonsense, but God help us if we couldn't have time for Yugi to actually duel Joey, and Joey finally gets his red eyes. We just couldn't be bothered for that. But no, here's Capsule Monsters. Because everybody totally loved that. Or here's this like non-useful episode of the characters doing something dumb that isn't even relevant to the story. Yeah, like it was a US thing, but still, that was like time to put into the series that they could have spent on anything else. I find it funny that they even did that. It's like, hey, we're gonna make this whole other thing and try to promote it, and it doesn't do jack shit. It was just as useless as Dungeon Dice Monsters. And even that game had like some sets going on. But yeah, like it was supposed to be that Joey was supposed to beat Merrick, get Ra, and then I believe Yugi was obviously gonna beat Joey for Ra. And maybe for Red Eyes as well. Like it was probably going to be a double thing. But who knows? Who knows where that would have went in that timeline? And it's always funny because every time, like back in the day, whenever Ra was promoted, it was always like attached to Joey with like artwork and stuff. But then we finally get to that point, and then it all just changes. Because like even in Falsebound Kingdom, there was a like you had to play two modes. You had to play the Yugi story and the Kaiba story, and then when you beat them, you gained the ability to use one of the gods. But in Joey's storyline, you get Ra, but because they made Joey a class that could not use the god cards, you had to have Ishizu in your party, or else you just couldn't use Ra at all, unless you had like Kaiba or Yugi. But yeah, like you're just in a situation where you're just like, damn, it would be really cool if I could use Winged Dragon of Ra with Joey right now. But he got shafted so hard in the story. I would have liked to have seen that skull chain thing that makes all the three blue eyes have to fight together, and which was basically like basically it was like beta Blue Eyes Ultimate, It would have been cool if that card came back as like a trap or something. Or even as like a type of fusion card that has like some weird benefits. But it's like heavily specific to Blue Eyes. They kind of did that with like Ultimate Fusion for like Ultimate Alternative or whatever the monsters were for. They kind of did that, but not with the same like chain skull thing. I need your eyes. Thank you. I do wish they kind of spent more time on the game element of Yu-Gi-Oh! Rather than just, hey, we're doing this to save the world. There wasn't really like too much focus on like actually like building a deck and stuff like that. There was like one episode where Yugi goes out and buys cards and that was it. Or that they removed Yugi's mom. I always wondered why that was a thing. It's like, oh, in America we don't have parents. Apparently that's not a thing here. Except for Joey's mom. Apparently Joey's mom was fine, but we couldn't have Yugi's mom. It's like, nah, Yugi having a mom, that's too much. Oh, wrong thing. It's like, what are you, crazy? Yugi having a mom? That's kind of blasphemy there, I don't know. But then again, Pegasus dies in the anime version, so there's that. I'm surprised they never animated Yu-Gi-Oh! R. Like, you'd think that would be like the next go-to thing to do. But they never did it, and it was really weird that they never bothered to try. And it had like a lot of cool shit. Maybe. I mean, I'd have to look back to see if she even shows up. But she had like a whole scene where Yugi runs into her and then she's just like, what the hell? Hell, I'm surprised Ribbon, or whatever the hell her name is, from the Season 0 didn't just come back for the anime. It's like, hey, here's this character that was super prominent for some reason in the anime version of Season 0. But we're just gonna have her be super prominent for those who only watch the anime. And then when we have this new version, we're just gonna completely ignore this character that we spent so much time on. Kinda like what they did with Mai. It's like, here's this pretty decently exposed character, and then we're just gonna completely either dump her ass plot wise, or just completely forget that she's even there. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! R should have been a thing that they animated. I thought that would have been cool. Joey's duel would have been interesting because he literally would have lost if he hadn't have bullied the other player into doing something else. And he's all like, oh, your strategy is lame, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, it was fucking working. And he had to fucking gripe her into doing something else. So, even though it's on her for changing her strategy, it's just really sad that Joey had to resort to that. It's like I have to troll her so fucking hard in order to win. Zombie Bandit Keith was cool though. Yusei versus Team Unicorn. I forget. I'd have to rewatch that one. I like the underdog one, where they summon Zushin, the genie. Like that duel was fucking sick. It's like 4 episodes of just watching guys with a completely basic ass deck, and they're actually doing shit. And it's like, see, games like that are fucking fun. Because I like using like random ass old cards that people don't pay attention to. And it's always funny when they don't know what to do in those situations. Because they're so hard focused on like meta stuff that whenever you throw that kind of shit in front of them, they have no idea how to handle it. Or even something as simple as having 2 monsters that say you can only attack those 2, but it creates like a loop where your opponent can't attack at all. Like something as basic as that is still something that confuses some people. So that's always been fun. Or it's like, how come I can't do this? It's like, because this card says you can't. Like, I'll even straight up tell them the answers every once in a while. I'll be like, okay, this is your problem right here. And then when they do try to get rid of it or whatever, my other response is just be like, alright, so then you trigger this thing. Which is like another basic ass card. Why is this like this? Oh, that's why. There we go. Like, King Tiger of Wangu is fucking cool. He just sits there and chills while all these weak-ass monsters die. Like, I made a deck which just focused on that with Black Garden and like other cards that just lower attack points, and just have King Tiger Wangu just sitting there while everything dies. Meanwhile, I'm probably using, like, I don't know, some burn cards or whatever. But it's not like a heavily burn-focused deck. Nowadays, I'm just kind of wondering what they're trying to do with, God damn it. Nowadays, I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do with the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, since they're so heavily focused on Rush at the moment. Like, Rush isn't bad, but it's just like a bad comedy. And then most of the cards they show are either nostalgia bait, in terms of like, oh, remember this monster? Well, here's this monster with a sweater, which was actually a thing in the anime, and they actually made a card of that. It's like, here's this monster, but it's wearing a sweater. And then sometimes they'll like bring back the older cards to be used in that format, and I'm just like, okay, so you're making a different kind of game, which isn't a bad idea, but you're not really promoting it too much, at least not in America. So it's like questionable if they have any faith in it. And then if it does come out, it's only like in a video game form or something. And then they still do that thing where we're gonna edit the cards so that way you can't see what the cards say in the anime. That part annoyed me. I was like, why are we still doing this? Especially after when the movie came out. Like, after the movie came out, they should have just stuck with, hey, this is what the cards do, written on the card. But no, we just ignored that. What's the one Yu-Gi-Oh series with kids at an academy school? That was GX. GX was actually really good. And then they like slowly started making it more about, well, here's some world-ending shenanigans going on. Which is weird, because they acknowledged that they had other schools, and they didn't just make it about that. Where it's like, okay, here's, we're going up against other schools that are out in the world. Because Kaiba didn't just make one. He made several. I just love that Kaiba was so fucking salty about Yugi having the god cards that he made Slifer like the bottom tier class for the school. He's like, nah, fuck Slifer. That's gonna be like commoners tier. I love that Kaiba Man was a thing. That was funny. That Pegasus fucking... Well, since Pegasus is alive in that timeline, Pegasus made a card to represent Kaiba and honor, like, various Blue Eyes related cards. Like, the fact that Pegasus made a card called Kaiba Man that only summons Blue Eyes White Dragon, the card that there's only 3 copies in the entire fucking world that Kaiba owns. So if you ever got Kaiba Man as like a card in a pack or something, is this completely useless to you? Yeah, like they made the whole like, oh, this is buried on top of like some spiritual structure thing, and that's how we have Hamon, Raviel, and Uriah. And here's this old guy who gets younger because he used those monsters and took their souls or some shit. So there's that going on. Which honestly, the guy was cooler wearing the robot suit. Like they should have just stuck with that. But it was like just unnecessary stuff. Like they didn't really need any of that to make it cool. But I guess they just went like, yo, this world is gonna end, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, we did that like 8 times already. Granted, we did get some interesting characters out of it, but still. It's just like a boring story trope at this point. Which is still weird because they have yet to really make a show that just, or a season that just focuses on the game. Like, not even once. I think we're done with her at this point. Let's do this. Let's see. Want to tweak her a little bit. Soft. What's a 30 look like? And let's bump it down to like 20 or 10. That's better. Brightens it up a little. Okay. I think I might stop from here. I'll just throw on some random ass background. What kind of background I give her? Let's do like a deep blue, like a grayish blue. Like I might call it after this. Make another layer. Brighten this up a bit. You. So let's do like 70% and then throw on some random texture. Thank you. But yeah, despite my issues with Yu-Gi-Oh, I still like the game. I just feel it has a lot of problems that need fixing, but it's like near impossible to fix without super overhauling the game. Like, you would actually have to put in effort, a lot of effort, to fix up that game. Let's use Cobra Skin. Wait for it to render. Maybe I'll try doing a little video thing where I announce, hey, I'm gonna stream on Twitch and post it on YouTube, because I see plenty of people doing that. So I'll try doing that shit. Or if I can, stream on both at the same time, but I don't know if it can do that. I think there was a thing that could do that, but I don't think it does it anymore. Or at least I don't recall it being a thing anymore. Anyway, let's see. How can we make this look cool? Kind of like that inverted thing. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, let's try this, but then lessen it. It's fine. Like, I've seen people do it all the time, and they just remove the video after the stream is over. They just make sure to remove the announcement. So as long as it's not lasting, I think it's fine. Because then YouTube is just going to go out of their way to bitch about something that doesn't even exist. And if you do it within a day, it doesn't give YouTube enough time to really respond. It's kind of like how when people make like limited time t-shirts that have like some IP going on. Like let's just say Mario, for example. They'll give you like 24 hours to order the shirt or whatever. And it's not even like nearly enough time for companies to do anything about it, so they don't even bother. So that could be the case. But yeah, whatever works. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna look over how this week is going. And we're just waiting for this to render. I can probably just click OK and just wait for it to finish it. There we go. And it feels like it needs a little color. So let's toss in some red. And we'll take some from you. What am I looking for? And you go here. Wrong button. Let's get the transparent one. And I accidentally forgot that was on setting. Let's deselect or undo. There we go. That, huh. Oh, I was like, why the fuck does it look like that? Alright, that's better. Does this need to be tweaked in any way? Probably not. Ooh, that's not too bad. I like that. Screen dodge. Yeah, maybe screen. Screen might be a good one. Yeah, let's do screen. What does dodge look like? Dodge is a little darker. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we got this. I'll probably put like some kind of glow around her just so she stands out a little bit more. Select. Color it red. Rasterize. Let's put a blur on it. Let's try 20. Let's see what does 20 look like. What does 40 look like? It's a little better. So we'll do that, and then tweak. Yeah, I think the add glow will be fine. And just lower it a bit so it's not so demanding. Let's try 70. I think 70 is like a good rounded number. There we go. Alright. So here's Fat Blood Orange. Big old juicy blood orange. And then let me just add. Where is it? This in the usual spot. Zoom in on it, make sure it's lined up. And there we go. This was fun. Let me save this shit. A little tired. Very over-ripened blood orange. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, if I make a character that's like with this body type and just, you know, chasing somebody around in a spooky way or whatever, I'll probably be basing it off of this. So that'll be a fun time. And I'll just make it like a short comic, I don't know, like 24 or 26 pages. You know, something simple. Maybe shorter, depending on how long I want it to be. But yeah, and I'll post this version as well as the line art version for fun. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I'm now at 51 followers. So that's good. And yeah, tomorrow I will stream again on Picardo this time for the risque stuff. So likely whatever it is I'm going to work on for Patreon. So probably the Fat Lovers Club or... Oh, thank you for the follow, Killer. I'll probably do that for like Fat Lovers Club or even the poll winner. Depends on what I'm going for. And if maybe not this week, but maybe during next week I'll make like another alternate Becky avatar skin. So like that way for the risque streams, I'll have her in like a more lewd outfit to wear for that stream. So that'll be fun. After tomorrow, I'm gonna make like a schedule of when I'll be streaming and what days and stuff like that. So that way I'll have time to stream and then also time to just work on, important things like the comics and whatever other critical content I need to make for Patreon and Subscribestar for all that. And yeah, then I'll just, stream here, play some games on certain days, and just upload it to YouTube. Which, Jesus, the upload from Twitch is crazy. It's like gigs big compared to Picardo. Like the most I've seen Picardo do is like 3 gigs big, whereas my most recent upload, like it was like 8 gigs, and I had to reduce that down to like 3 or 5, something like that. Whereas Picardo, I can reduce it to like less than a gig. It's like, damn, these files are chunky. But yeah, thank you for coming, and I will see you guys next time. Alright? You guys take care.